Greetings everyone, and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be another continuation of my series here of the Pine Creek Rail Trail up here in northern Pennsylvania. So today I am actually here outside of Wellsboro, and you saw one of my previous videos that'll be popping up there in the corner. You saw where the one end of the railroad ended or started, however you want to look at it, down in Jersey Shore, where the railroad at one time joined up with the Buffalo line. And I believe this railroad that went through the Pine Creek Valley was actually called the Jersey Shore, Pine Creek, and Buffalo line, or something like that. There's many different names for it. I know it was part of the New York Central Railway at one time, and everything else. So the other videos will probably have a link to information about the railroad or at the bottom of the screen or down in the description field or whatever. But up here in just outside of Wellsboro, where I'm at, there's an area called, I believe it's called Stokesdale. And this is the other end of the railroad where it started or ended. And you'll get to see here where a current railroad ends and the rail trail actually begins. So this area that's over there is called Stokesdale Junction, I believe. And unfortunately, I don't have the drone with me today to put it up and show you the Y that's over there, but I can put a Google's map satellite image in the video here and show you the Y over there. So the current railroad that's in operation over there is owned by the Wellsboro and Corning Railroad, is the short line railroad that operates, and I believe it's like a 33 or 36 mile short line rail from Wellsboro here up to Corning, New York. Yes, where they make Corning glass. So it meets up with the Norfolk Southern line up there. So let's walk around here a little bit before we get the cameras mounted on the bike and head on down the trail there. But I'll show you over here on one side of the road where the railroad is, and on the opposite side of the road, it isn't anymore. So here is the parking area, and that's where the trail heads on down through there. It begins its 62-mile journey through the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon and follows the Pine Creek all the way down to Jersey Shore. From where I'm at right now to where I did my last video there in Waterville, I believe it's about 42 miles from here down to that access point. So that's the one end of the parking lot. And over here is the other end, and you can see right there, I believe this might have been a 2-track here at one time, judging from those from the bridge remains that are there. Looks like there could have been 2 lines that went across there. Alright, so here is the remains of the bridge for the railroad that went over this little creek here. I'm not sure what creek this is, but there's something interesting right there. I'm not sure what that was for. A little cement pillar there. I don't know if it may have been for the telegraph lines that went along the railroad or not. And yeah, they did redeck this bridge, so this really isn't the trail here. This is, I guess you consider it's part of the parking area, but it's not really part of the trail. Right out there is the main road, and up in there some, after that's a feed mill up there or something that gets serviced by the railroad, and there's some, you can see the hopper cars in the distance over there. And just looking in the weeds here, there is the remains of a insulator tree or a telegraph pole, but no insulators on it, but there's still some wire on it there. So the So the actual telegraph line probably would have been on this side of the track instead of on that side where I thought it was, but so far this is the only remain that I can find other than the bridge there of the railroad here. Looks like there's some conduit laying there, and right here is the remains of maybe where they would have had the signals at one time for the road here, for the flashing lights. But right over there you can see it. That is the end of the line. And there you can see some passenger cars in the distance. Let's see if we can walk across the street there quick and give you a shot of the Y that's there. So yeah, there is the Y and the end of the line here. So this is, the line would have continued on here and went down to Jersey Shore. But again, this was torn out in 1989, was when they ripped the line up. Interfere too much with the video, but if you look right over there, you can see one of the orange engines over there for the Wellsboro and Corning Railroad. It also looks like they may have a shop out there across the field there too. Hey everyone, I'm going to jump in here real quick and share some news with you that I found out about after shooting this video, and it's not good news. So those rail cars that you see in the background there was part of the Tioga Central Railroad, which was a heritage railroad that operated on portions of the Corning Railroad. It went from Wellsboro to Tioga, Pennsylvania. They had dinner cars, and it was basically just a short, passenger excursion. But when you know what hit, they obviously had to shut operations down due to the lockdowns and everything, and they never started it back up. Also, the only business down in Wellsboro that was sending and receiving goods via the rail line was the Tioga Container Company. And apparently they are no longer shipping or receiving stuff through the freight line. So through the combination of both, the line from here down to Wellsboro is more or less abandoned. And I found out through newspaper articles recently that they are going to be extending the Pine Creek Rail Trail from this point down to Charleston Street, which is where the train station for Wellsboro currently stands, which is a shame for the rail line itself, because in recent years they went and completely rehabbed the line and put new ballast down and ties and everything. So they claim there's going to be a small museum there with information, I guess, on the railroad. Hopefully it's going to be the train station itself, and they keep that train station standing there. As far as the fate of those rail cars that you see there, the passenger cars, well, we don't know what's going to happen to them yet. So things are definitely going to be looking different here in 2023, as that is when they were supposed to start construction on the 3-mile section of trail from here down to Wellsboro. And those cars, well, maybe Andy Muller from the Reading and Northern Railroad could look into purchasing them if he needs more cars for his passenger trains there in Jim Thorpe. I got some other remains right there in the weeds that most likely could have been for the railroad at one time too. All right, so we are off, and it's going to be cold today on this bike. 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So we'll see how it goes here. It'll determine how far I'm going to go on this thing. So I didn't make it far down from the parking lot before I found some more remains along here. So this is one of the remains of the telegraph line there in one of the boxes that was on it. I don't know if this would have been to connect to the signals, you know, when the signals get activated when the train gets so close, or not, but there's definitely some remains along here. Don't know if I'll find any more along the trail while I'm riding here, but time will tell. And you can see it right over there. Another telegraph pole. And it looks like a box next to it there where they would have had the batteries as a battery backup, maybe for a signal tower that was along in this area. I'll have to go online and bring up old aerial photos from this area, because this particular part of the trail here definitely looks wide enough to support 2 rail lines on it. So just past the mile marker back there for the rail trail, mile marker 1. This would probably be nice if you had the way of doing it, because I know in some of the discussion groups on Facebook that's dedicated to the rail trail here, people have biked the 62 miles in a day from here in Wellsboro in Tioga County down to Jersey Shore in Lycoming County. That is a long ride to be pedaling. It's not so bad going down. They say it's easier going down than it is coming up, because it's a 2% grade downhill. So like I said, I want to try and document as much of this rail trail as I can, going between different access points. This here is a long one between here and I think it's Marsh Creek is the next access point out through here, but it's quite a few miles from here to there. So we might do half of it today and then come back later, whether it's later next year when I'm up here on vacation, and do some more of it. The hardest part is going to be trying to document it is in the heart of the Grand Canyon, from Blackwell all the way up to Darling Run. That is the heart of the Grand Canyon. You are in the valley and there is no access points along there, and I forget, it's quite a few miles to from Darling Run to Blackwell.
So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to attempt to try and document that part, because that is the one of the neatest spots there. Takes you by the Turkey Path, which is a path that branches off of the rail trail here and takes you up to Leonard Harrison State Park. Passing mile marker 2. There's another cement mile marker over along the side there, but that is completely destroyed from over the years. There's no numbers on it. So we made it to Canada Run, which is 4 miles from the trailhead there. So we are turning around and we are going to head back. So this will be an 8-mile trip today. Eight-mile round trip. But I am running into showers out here. Didn't think I'd run into any, but I am. So we are going to turn around and head back. Before it really starts raining. And this obstruction was not here a few minutes ago when I passed through. Yep, that literally just fell across here. So there is no way that is going to get moved by myself. DCNR or somebody will have to come through and cut that up there, throw it off to the side. And in case anybody is wondering about e-bikes on this rail trail, class 1 e-bikes only, which is what my scooter is considered. It is a class 1, which means I can ride it on this trail here, which I most likely will be bringing it with me when I come up here later on next year. As I'll definitely be able to cover more ground faster. Because they are definitely better, especially if they got a seat on it for somebody like me that has arthritis in their knee and their hip. Can either stand or sit on it. Biking the trails in these videos that I did so far, it's pretty good for on my hip and my knee, but I do have to stop every so often and take a little break. And I can safely say too, I got this whole trail to myself today. It's Black Friday, which means everybody's out doing their shopping, or this is the afternoon, so they're probably done their shopping. But only passed a couple with their dog, and that was in the beginning of the video there, shortly after the parking area. I have not passed anybody else on this trail so far. Two miles to go. Well, the end is in sight. We're about a mile away. Yep. Passing the mile marker now. 1 mile. So that roar that I heard back there on top of the mountain, I actually thought was wind, but it's not. They're actually drilling for gas up there. So that's the equipment that you probably can't hear it, but I could hear it running. And over to my right, which you can't see, is one of the I guess transfer centers where they take the water out after they're done using it for the fracking process. And they have tanks over there that they put it into, and then they take those tanks out and take them to a reclaim center or recycling center where they clean the water up and then release it again. So I wanted to take a stop at this bridge here that's close to the parking area to take a look here. And I'm pretty certain that this particular section of the railroad had 2 rails on it at one time, because this is pretty wide here as far as the abutments go on this side. And if you walk over to this side over here, you can see how wide it is. And I would say there were probably 2 rails in here, but I won't know for sure until I bring up some old satellite or old aerial photos, I should say, of the area here. But judging by the width of the trail here and these bridges, there were 2 rail lines in here at some point. What a difference a couple hours make. When I started this video, the sun was out, looked like it was going to clear up. It was windy, but now, yeah, a couple hours later, sun went in, dark, gloomy, and no wind, which is fine, because those 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts were just brutal. Always a good sign when I can see a yellow gate. And we are back. All right, well, I can safely say I can check off another 4 miles of the rail trail off my list. So, although I probably could have picked a better day to do this, weather forecasters definitely got the forecast wrong for the day, because it was supposed to clear up this afternoon and the sun was supposed to be out, and yeah, there's no sun. And they were definitely sort of wrong with the wind gusts too. It was windy there for a little bit with 30-mile-an-hour gusts, but now there's like no wind at all or anything. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that ride with me there. Again, it was 4 miles out to an area called Canada Run. I probably could have went another half mile more and made it to the comfort station out there, but with the showers I was running into, I didn't want to take the chance of getting soaked and, in the cold and everything else. It's just not good.
So 8-mile round trip today. Pretty good ride despite the weather. So if you did like the video, please give it the thumbs up. Also consider hitting that subscribe button down there if you're new to the channel and just found it. Would appreciate if you'd like to subscribe and see all the content that I do create, because it is a variety channel here. And also you can ring the bell down there and be notified when I upload new videos to YouTube. So, and thanks again to everybody, all the subscribers on here, as well as all the followers and subscribers on the other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So until next time, it's have a ball and do it all. We'll see you soon.